Those were some good cookies, right?
They were some good cookies.
Welcome to Honest Hockey, where two guys talk about all things hockey. Honestly, I'm Tom, and I think he's Tom.
I was told I was doing the intro. All right. Hey guys, how are you? I'm Tom. He's Tom. Thanks for joining us today. Top of the morning to ye. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Happy St. Patty's.
Today we have something a little bit different.
We say that like every time.
We do. Well, because we don't do two of the same videos.
Boom.
Unless it's a tier list.
That's all. A tier list and our honest eating.
Subscribe down below. But today we are talking about a little bit different.
We're pissed.
We're pissed off,
okay.
Angry, annoyed about the referees in the National Hockey League. Yeah. We need to have a discussion. Yeah. All of us together. The community of hockey needs to have a discussion.
And we're community of hockey, apparently.
And I'm going to leave this up to you.
Yes.
Tom, why do the NHL refs suck?
Why? Well, there was one big reason. Obviously, us Ranger fans. We don't want to seem like Ranger fans complaining.
No, we don't.
But this seems to be a topic that's been kind of going around
a lot.
And there just needs to be kind of some fixing.
Agreed.
Obviously, missed calls. Calls that were apparently just...
Not called.
Or
calls that were called incorrectly.
Exactly.
And my favorite one.
Yeah. Making
up the rules as you go along.
Boom. I think the refs are just best at that.
I think so too.
So, you're taking lead.
Yep.
If you want to start, and we'll kind of have my opinions. I have my opinions on it and everything like that.
Yeah, so I think it's only fair to start with the debacle that has happened to the Rangers in the last couple of days. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with the game against the Bruins. I believe it was like on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
And Alexis Lafreniere, high stick to the face.
Yes.
2 minutes. Minor penalty.
But Tom, I thought there was blood.
Then we see Alexis on the bench like...
He's going, there's blood on his hands.
This isn't ketchup, my guy, this is blood. And you know what the ref said?
Tough noogies.
Rub some ice on it.
Yeah.
It's staying at a 2 minute...
Oh, yeah, get him a towel.
Yeah. It's staying at a 2 minute penalty.
Yeah. Which
didn't come back to bite the Rangers because they won that game 4-0.
Which was fine.
Fine. Whatever. Okay. Fast forward to Monday night. Monday night. Rangers Flyers. Yeah. Competitive back and forth game. Very beautiful. Good game.
I love the game. Even
Fantastic
though we lost,
game.
I like the game.
Yes. Well, spoiler alert. The Rangers lost. There was I don't even know how to... Do you want to set the scene for this? Because this is the one that really annoyed you.
Julien Gauthier. He high sticks Drew. Now, I'm not complaining that it was a high stick.
It was a penalty.
It was a penalty for sure. His stick goes up, rides up, it hits his face, it hits the shield and up. Yeah. Done. All right. It's a penalty. But then, none of the refs saw it. He drops to the floor, and he's just on the floor for a little bit. He finally gets up, and he gets to the bench, right? In the bench, he starts bleeding.
Right.
So now he's blood on his hand, there's blood on the towel.
Seems reminiscent to when Lafreniere was like, exactly, hey, I'm bleeding, right? My guy.
The only difference was that he stayed on the floor like he died. Lafreniere took the hit, went to the bench, started bleeding.
Right.
All of a sudden, they're huddled up, and I'm like, oh, maybe they're reviewing if he actually did get hit. But then I'm like, no, he's bleeding. He got hit. It's a penalty. Whatever. Okay, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty.
Bada bing, bada boom. Penalty.
But then they're like, oh, yeah, they're going to review the play. And I'm like, review.
Call on the ice is under review.
I'm like, what review? Like, it's a penalty.
Was there a goal scored that we missed? Like,
yeah.
What's going on?
So then I was just like, okay, it should be for a minute. Like, he's bleeding.
Right.
It should be just that. They were reviewing the high stick call because there was blood. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you reviewing it? If you didn't review it two games prior, why review it now? Like, what's the difference? Is because one's a veteran and one's a rookie? But if you sit there and think about it, when Sidney Crosby started to join the league, they protected him.
Yeah.
Why are you not protecting another first-round pick? So, like, there's something weird. And then, so we looked at the rule book.
I'll put it right here. But, so this, I guess you could say this is up for interpretation.
Yes.
But to me, it's not.
Yeah.
The NHL, I think it was last year, changed the rules of what the refs could look into.
Yeah.
They could look into major penalties, not fighting. And they could look into a double minor high sticking call.
Yes.
However, it states that they can look into the call on the ice. If there was a call on the ice, they can look into it to see if it's a 2 minute or a 4 minute minor because of a double minor because of blood.
Yes.
I take that rule, and I think everyone else takes that rule as in there has to originally be a call on the ice to review.
Now,
you can't just then decide because Giroux is on the ice, howling in pain, that you then fast forward a little bit of time and then go and review to see if there's a call.
All right, 4 minute. Now
you can't go from 0 to 4. You can go from 2 to 4.
Now I don't know. Like, obviously, we're watching on TV. We're not there. We don't see if they call the penalty right away. Right. You don't see that.
But as you said,
the announcers,
as you said, Sam and Joe,
they were lost. They were like, oh, the refs never saw it.
Right.
So
if the refs never saw a penalty, like how many times do we see a penalty watching the game live on TV, and they're like, oh, the refs missed that one. The refs never go back and call it. So apparently, all you need to do to get the call is go down on the ice like you've been sniped.
Basically. That's what, and
then they'll eventually review it.
Yeah, but like that doesn't make any sense. So like it's so weird. Like if this was just an odd penalty just randomly in the season, and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why are they reviewing it? Whatever, okay. But when 2 days prior, it happens the same thing, but Lex Lafreniere doesn't drop to the floor dying,
and they called a penalty on Lafreniere.
So why didn't
they called a high sticking penalty?
So, but why is it up to the ref to be like, yeah, we should probably review it? But my thing is, what are they reviewing?
Yeah.
The blood? What? Of course the blood is.
Of course we can see the blood. We know he was high stick.
So what are they reviewing in the first place?
But you guys missed the penalty to begin with. Yeah. All right? Don't penalize the Rangers. Like, yes, the Rangers deserve to be penalized for that 2-minute high stick. If you saw it live.
Exactly.
You can't cover your butts up because you didn't see it live, but then you just want to decide you want to go and review something you didn't see.
Yeah.
That'd be like me going to review a movie but not seeing the movie.
And then talking about it.
Like, yeah, oh yeah.
You watch the trailer.
Yeah, no, the trailer's fantastic. This is the whole plot scene. Yeah. This is all the character development. No.
And he dies at the end.
But like, I guess we're nitpicking. No, we're not nitpicking. I guess we could add more to this because this game was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. Yeah. There was also the time where Nolan Patrick and Gritty Voracek came in to attack. I forgot who was on the Rangers because they thought it was a dirty hit, which should have been another penalty. And then there was the penalty on the game-winning goal in overtime because they spun Trouba around. He couldn't get to the puck, and then they went and scored a goal. Yeah. Officiating has been horrendous. Which leads me to my next point. If you do you have something else to say?
No, I was going to say we're just going to move on and talk about Tom Wilson.
Yes. So explain this to me. The NHL will then be able to review a penalty they didn't see. But they're not going to review the blatant elbow hit to the head Tom Wilson put on Brandon Carlo.
Yeah. Like, literally, Tom Wilson... Now, okay, listen.
Scumbag Tom Wilson. At me, Tom Wilson. I don't care.
Toms.
We're Toms. I'll fight you.
Oh, my gosh.
No one in the NHL likes you, scumbag. Stop making dirty hits. Reel it back in. Do we have official in the line?
Apparently. Now, obviously, in live action, it's very hard, and you see it. And
that was not a hard hit to see live.
But what I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
You could see him clearly move his elbow to direct his elbow to his head. Okay.
This is Brendan Carl's head.
He didn't spin out like that, but whatever.
He kind of did, but yeah.
So he gets hit, right? Nothing's called, but then 7 games right after that.
Right. So tell me how. It's not a penalty on the ice, but it's a 7-game suspension?
So you can review a 4-minute minor when there's visible blood.
Yeah.
Okay, so you review a minor, or the double minor, but like while you're reviewing that, you can clearly see that he has blood. Right. But yet, someone that just basically almost got murdered on the ice.
Also, caveat to this, which like you can't blame the NHL, the refs at the time, but you can because I'm going to. Brendan Carl had to go to the hospital for the night on that hit.
I did not know that.
He literally wasn't released from the hospital until the next day.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He had to be ambulanced from TD Garden to the hospital.
Wow.
And you're telling me there's no penalty on that play?
Not even the penalty.
What are you doing, refs?
So, I'm a big believer of, here's a problem, let's make a solution.
We have a couple solutions.
So we have a couple solutions that we think that could possibly help the NHL. Some are kind of taken from other sports, and some of them are actually our own thoughts. One that we kind of I brought up, so I'll brought it up, was just more refs on the ice. Yes. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of space in the ice.
No, and the players are bigger, faster, stronger. So, like, there's even less space on the ice because of that.
So my solution to my own solution was this. You have the backup refs wait in if one ref gets injured or something like that, and the Rangers just scored.
Mika's a man, Jed. 7-0
finally.
Rangers.
So basically, if you have those two, let's utilize them. Okay? Why not have one outside of the glass on one zone and have another one on the other side of the zone? So that's an additional person. Listen, there's radios, you can beep in, you can buzz in, but whatever.
This is 2021. We have the technology.
There's technology for that, right? So let's say like you don't want something that rudimentary. We can then go to what?
VAR.
VAR.
So if anyone out there is familiar with the soccer world, they have VAR. That's the sign for VAR.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, on the pitch. However, soccer doesn't use VAR correctly.
And they don't use it correctly, so that's an issue.
Right. And everyone who watches soccer has a problem with the way they use it.
But if
they're going to say it's 8-0 Rangers.
I was going to say, but if you implement it correctly...
That's why you have Commissioner Tom here.
Yes.
To teach you how to implement it correctly. All you need to do, the basic premise of it is, you have the refs on the ice, reffing the game.
Yeah.
You have somebody watching the screen.
Yeah.
If they see a problem on the ice, buzz down to the ref, stop play.
Yeah.
You missed a call. We're going to get it right. Reverse it to win to face off at the last time. Yeah. Like, I don't care. People might not like it at first.
Yeah.
But you want to get these calls right.
So then I would even say to that back was that maybe you only do specific calls.
Right.
You know, interference, you're not going to call that.
No.
That's
but if it's like...
If it's a high stick or if it's like a boarding call...
Goaltender interference is most likely going to be...
That's covered almost.
Correct.
But like those type of calls are the ones that should probably be reviewed.
Right.
You know?
I don't know if you would consider calling a trip, because there's a lot of trips that are missed. And a lot of things can be called trip. There's a lot of things that can be like called holding when the stick gets caught underneath the guy's arm.
So like those are light penalties.
Correct.
I'm talking about like the big
We're talking about Tom Wilson killing a man.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you were saying that the VAR system didn't really usually implement it correctly.
Correct.
My thing to that would be then have someone that is strictly on monitor on the VAR system, and have someone else that is monitoring multiple monitors.
Well, like they have the Situation Room up in Toronto.
Yeah, something similar to that.
Something that in the garden,
again,
in the arena.
You have two other referees on.
Make them do something.
Make them do something instead of watching the game or whatever. Have them do something. You know, and okay, like if you lose the two referees because you lost two referees on the ice, then okay, you lost them and the game goes along with the officiating that's usual.
Right.
But maybe you have one that's making sure that the person in front of the VAR system is catching everything and implementing it correctly. So then there's like a checks and balance thing. Because like there has to be something. You know, it's 2021. You know, there's track and puck technology. Granted, they pushed it back. They're not using it right now. Right. But like they use it once in a while on NBC. Like you can see like they'll like do this, the speeds of like a certain player's ice time and stuff like that. It's great. They have those same capabilities of that. You have a capability of doing this.
Yeah, it's not even like it's that expensive.
No, I mean, listen, you're paying the ref to be there already. Right. Maybe if it has to go to it, there's a commissioner or something like that you get. Like,
these ideas can be worked upon.
Yes,
just get the calls right.
Exactly.
Like officiating stinks in every sport. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like it's been especially terrible in the NHL.
Oh yes. So then we started talking about. We brainstormed.
Some penalties for the refs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the ones we came up with were, yours was to dock and pay.
No, so my thoughts were dock and pay or something else, but then I was just like, if you dock start and pay, then most people refs won't be motivated to either become refs or even continue to be refs.
Right. There could be a point system in like.
So this, I like this.
Every missed call like counts as a point, or you lose a point, and then when you get to like I don't know whatever like 0 points, or if you add up and you get to like 10 points, then you're like suspended a game, or something like that.
So then if you don't want it to suspension, then I even said, let's say the missed calls are boarding calls, or there's tripping calls, you have to go and review those. You're forced to go through the training that you went through for those calls to go over it again, and you can't ref until you come back on that.
Right, like in a normal job, if you don't understand one portion of your job, you have to go back through a training. You have to watch a PowerPoint or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then
my favorite
was this, and I like
this one, that penalize the refs who make, I guess you could like...
So I guess the most points
aren't allowed to, and we don't even have to call it the final, aren't even allowed to ref a playoff game.
Playoff game, yeah.
Because we all know that the prestige for being a ref is being a Stanley Cup final referee.
Yeah. So
don't
like,
let them,
take that away from them.
in the Stanley Cup if they make this many mistakes.
Yeah. Now, okay, this can create pressure. Like, you know, like a lot of players that get concussions, they're always worried after they're going to get hit and stuff like that. So, like, obviously, there's some tweaking and stuff like that. And, Greg, maybe if you give us a call, we'll make some things happen. But, like, there has to be something.
Yeah, there has to be.
You know, like, listen, if I start doing something bad at my job, I'm getting written up. You know? Why are these people getting written up? Maybe we don't know if they're getting written up. We don't know that inside scoop, I guess. But I think if they were getting written up, we wouldn't have this.
Right, correct.
You know, and I just pointed to the game, but
yeah, Rangers fire 7-0. 3 minutes left in the second period.
So like it's a nagging issue. You know, we have a problem. We came up with some solutions. Maybe you guys have some solutions.
Let us know in the comment section below.
You know, but that I mean,
and this is not just like a Ranger fan complaining thing because the Rangers got screwed over the other night. If you go on Twitter and just put in NHL refs, you will see complaints from everybody. Yeah. We didn't even get into the complaint because we kind of have different views on it.
Yeah.
On the Chris Tanev hit the other night in the Penguins Boston game, which could have been I would have been fine with that being a 2-minute boarding penalty.
Instead of a 4.
And no, they gave him a 5-minute game misconduct.
Sorry, apologize.
And they kicked him out of the game for a hit that you couldn't even have been a borderline penalty. So, I would have no problem if you called it a 2-minute boarding. But, like, they literally kicked him out of the game. And a 5-minute game misconduct should be reserved for the worst of the worst.
Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson. Scumbag.
So, I sent you that tweet of the
Penguins mascot.
Yes, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's on the Penguins mascot account.
But there was a yellow-orange line.
They called it the warning track. So if you're familiar with baseball, you have the wall, and then you have the warning track right in front of it.
So basically, once you see that is when you stop.
Is when if any penalty is committed inside that orange shading, it's a boarding penalty.
Yeah. Or it just helps the player know, hey, if I hit this guy into it,
this guy's going flying and
he's going to go into it.
Yeah.
You know? So, again, either you run into a wall or you hit someone into a wall.
Right.
And that can be implemented very easily.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the picture that we had, and we'll put it over here, it's very, very orange. So I highly doubt that they would do something like that.
It doesn't even have to be that orange.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Just that idea.
Just an idea of it, or, you know, checkerboard or whatever, or something that can help because, you know, when I want to have a kid, I want them to play hockey.
Yeah, be safe.
And be safe though. And like that's the worrisome of a parent is that, you know, a lot of parents don't let their kids play football now.
Football, yeah.
And football's, you know, obviously they know it's an issue and they're working on it, and maybe you could probably chime into this if they're working on it enough.
Yeah, but I still would never let my son play football.
So that's the thing.
And no one loves football more than I do. I'm not letting my son play football.
He's wearing a Jets hat.
I am wearing a Jets hat. I'm making my son play baseball.
Yeah,
I grew up a baseball player.
Well, one baseball you make a lot more money.
Yes. Anyway, that's besides the point. Well, I just want to say in closing, if the two of us, two schmucks over here, could come up with some solutions in 5 minutes.
They need to sit down and come up.
You tell me the NHL can't come up with that? You tell me night in, night out we have to see terrible refereeing?
Yeah.
No.
Millions and multi-million dollar...
Billion-dollar company.
Billion-dollar company, multi-million-dollar owners and stakes and commissioners and whatever they're called.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Like, you're telling me that you're like that's not on top of your issues or your top of your priority list is just the safety. If you don't do something, less people are going to play this game. You're trying to grow it, and that's a great thing. You're going to do the opposite. And
if you don't, the detective firm of Tom and Tom here, we're going to launch an investigation into you. Mm-hmm. Law and Order theme song playing. Anyway, on that note, thanks for watching this episode of Honest Hockey. Be sure to give us a like if you enjoyed, and don't forget to
cross-check
the subscribe button. I'm Tom. He's Tom. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome video. Loved it. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Now, Columbus got hit.
Columbus, look, we can cross-check Columbus all we want. No one cares.